of the Russian invasion. President Biden tweeting well wishes as well to his Oval Office predecessor, Jimmy Carter, who is now in hospice care. ABC's Jim Ryan with more.
At the Carter Center here in Atlanta, visitors reacted to the news that after a series of hospital stays, the 39th president would no longer seek medical intervention.
It was a gut check.
Al Mosher was visiting from Kansas City.
When I think of Jimmy Carter, I think of not so much his political career, but his life after being in the limelight.
With Carter's decades of humanitarian ventures, his biographer Jordan Michael Smith has described him as the most successful ex-president in history. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Atlanta.
At least 5 people shot during a Mardi Gras parade in New Orleans last night. Deputy Police Superintendent Hans Gontier.
This is really not something we wanted to see. We really wanted this to be a safe Mardi Gras, and we continue to work towards that end.
All 5 victims, one of them a child, in the hospital. Classes resuming on the campus of Michigan State following last week's shooting that left 3 students dead, 5 others hospitalized. Secretary of State Antony Blinken getting a helicopter tour of southern Turkey to see damage from the earthquake firsthand. The death toll from this month's 7.8 magnitude quake, more than 46,000. You're listening to ABC News.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Despite weeks of protests, Israel's government is moving forward with plans today to overhaul the country's judicial system, including giving lawmakers more sway in choosing judges. Opponents call it a power grab by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Police in Los Angeles are now investigating the death of Bishop David O'Connell as a murder. Here's ABC's Zoreen Shaw.
For 45 years, Bishop Davis, he was known, was a prominent leader in the community. Appointed auxiliary bishop 8 years ago by Pope Francis. Church leaders called him a peacemaker with a heart for the poor and the immigrant. So far, police say they have no motive in O'Connell's murder.
A new health clinic opening tomorrow in East Palestine, Ohio, to help care for people feeling sick after that freight train derailed, dumping toxic chemicals. And a big start at the box office for one of Marvel's smallest characters.
A lot of people discovering the quantum realm Thursday night.
The secret universe beneath ours.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, earning $17.5 million in previews, on track for $110 million for the President's Day weekend. That would be a top 3 showing for the holiday, behind the first Black Panther and the first Deadpool, and ahead of 50 Shades of Grey. Marvel's owned by Disney, the parent company of ABC News. Speaking of Marvel and Disney, the studio moving its upcoming The Marvels movie starring Brie Larson and others from July 28th to November 10th. And the Haunted Mansion movie will move into the July spot. No reason given for the musical chairs. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
This is ABC News.
In a small, close-knit community in Kansas, a group of men started meeting in secret. They were plotting an attack on a local Muslim community, one that could have killed hundreds.
It would have completely shaken the foundation of America
if it hadn't been stopped by one man. Truth and Lies, The Informant, a 5-part series from ABC Audio. Listen wherever you get your...
Does that old tractor or lawnmower have more electrical tape or duct tape holding it together than you want to admit? Well, maybe it's time to see Phil Sheehan and his staff at NC Tractor for a new Massey Ferguson tractor or mower. Massey Ferguson is a company that's been around for over 175 years. That says a lot about a company. And paired with Phil Sheehan, who's been in business for over 25 years, that says a lot about his Phil and his staff. Knowledgeable about their product, and they stand behind every sale. Massey Ferguson is the last tractor you'll ever need. NC Tractor, a dependable and reliable company that'll be there after the sale. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford.
You won't need your heavy winter coat for this week. I'm tracking above normal temperatures to build in. So much so, today we'll get those highs to climb into the lower 60s and lower 70s. Now, we do have limited rain chances on tap, but we cannot rule out a few passing showers in some of our northern counties this afternoon. Tomorrow will be very warm again, highs in the low to mid 70s, with a small chance of seeing rain to the south. Winds will be gusty as well. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
We've been having some gusty winds this morning here in the foothills as well, and right now, according to Peter the meter reader, we're 38 degrees and should be climbing up nicely to a warm day with some breeze throughout today. The rain's going to hold off for a while, so that's good. We can get a few good days here without some rain, but be careful about the wind. It's going to be pretty strong for the next few days. Right now, 6 minutes after 7 o'clock, we'll have those death announcements in just a few moments. Right now, let me update you on a couple of other items from around here. According to the Daily Courier, several Rutherford County schools students were selected to become members of the Western North Carolina All-District Honor Band. The band is comprised of the top student musicians in the Western region. Students audition to be a part of the band by performing a prepared solo, major scales, and sight reading. Students who are accepted into the band travel to Western Carolina University for a weekend in February to work with a nationally known clinician and perform a concert. Chase Middle School students who are part of the honor band this year are Jesus Huraco, Jacob West, Matthew Wilson, Alexandra Arredondo, and Jonah Ezel. For Juarez Central High School were Diego Niera and Will Harper. In addition, Ezel, West, and Niera are eligible to audition for the North Carolina All-State Honor Band. These auditions will take place in March, and the All-State Clinic will be held at UNC Greensboro. Michael Henderson, Director of Bands and Vocal Music at Chase Middle School, said, "We're so proud of these students. For Chase Middle School, these are the first students who have represented the school at the district level in 7 years." Ryan Kistner is also a band director at Chase Middle School. Luke Saptenfield is the band director at RS Central High School. Congratulations to these fine musicians. On February 2nd, an official honor was given to Arthur H. King. Though he died in 2008, his family worked to make sure he received a special recognition for his service decades earlier in the United States Air Force. King was what became known as an atomic veteran, one who, along with many others, participated in the testing of nuclear weapons and post-test events. These activities took place in South Pacific from the mid-1940s to the early 1960s, and they were classified top secret. These veterans could not speak of their involvement with the young nuclear program for decades. King served in the Air Force with pride. He retired after nearly 20 years as a lieutenant colonel. At that point, he returned to his home in eastern North Carolina to work for his family company, Lakeside Mills. In the mid-1980s, the King family purchased Yelton Mill in Spindale. He and his wife and two of his sons, Brian and Kim, soon relocated to Rutherfordton. Arthur King witnessed the atom bomb testing. In 1956, with Operation Red Wing, he was assigned as an intercept controller for air operations. Daughter-in-law Christy King, Brian King's wife, had worked to gather the documentation to submit to the United States Department of Defense once the family learned of the new program to recognize the atomic veterans that began in 2022. Christy said for decades they were not able to discuss their experiences or even reveal to a doctor that they were exposed to radiation because the operations were that classified. Though these veterans received medical treatment through the Veterans Administration, they couldn't talk fully about their past experiences until the 1990s. Christy was diligent in collecting 20 pages of necessary documents, and she believed it was important for this atomic veteran honor posthumously given to Arthur H. King. Congratulations in all that effort. Now the Bill O'Reilly Morning Update is coming up here in just a few moments, and then we'll do the death announcements and get into the caller and report.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first, no question there is a concerted effort to intimidate and silence conservative thinkers and replace our God-given individual liberty with big government controls. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization in America. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits and all kinds of great content. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. On this Monday, I am currently writing my next book called Killing the Witches, The Horror of Salem, Massachusetts. It is a history of the first years of America and how the witch trials influenced how we live today. Now, Disney Plus is another one of these streaming channels, and it has a cartoon on it right now that tells children who watch cartoons that slaves built the United States. Okay, that's a lie. I don't know of many cartoons that lie outright, but this one does. Again, this is the Disney company. So we have researched the early years of America very thoroughly, and in the South, slaves did build the agrarian economy, farming. But in the North, in New England, that was a manufacturing economy, very powerful. The South was rural, the North was urban. Salem was an extension of Boston. There were ships coming in and out of Boston and Salem all the time, trading. Slaves had nothing to do with that. Nothing. Yet Disney is ramming this stuff down the throats of the kids that slaves built America. It is appalling. Back in a moment. If you are a timeshare owner, you're probably upset that your yearly dues continue to increase. Lone Star Transfer guarantees the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and done in a specific time frame. They're the only company you can trust, having helped more than 18,000 owners legally and permanently get out. So please call Lone Star Transfer 855-551-7066 or visit LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Classic oldies
right here on WCAB Rutherfordton.
The best of both worlds now. AM 590 and 100.9 FM.
Now it's 7:13. I have these death announcements this morning. Mary Carolyn Hensley Allen, age 74, of Rutherfordton, died Saturday, February the 18th at Windover Hospice in Shelby. The family will receive friends from 3 until 5 Wednesday, February the 22nd at Pleasant Hill Baptist Church. The funeral service will be at Pleasant Hill Baptist Church at 5 o'clock Wednesday, February 22nd. Burial will follow in Pleasant Hill Baptist Church Cemetery. Mike Van's Funeral Home and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for Mary Carolyn Hensley Allen. Mark Gunter died Friday, February the 17th. The service will be held Saturday, February the 25th, 1 until 2:45 at Southern Baptist Church in Rutherfordton. That's receiving of friends at 1 until 2:45, and then the service will be at 3 o'clock at Southern Baptist Church in Rutherfordton. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Mark Gunter. Lois Probst died Saturday, February the 18th. In Rutherfordton. Receiving of friends will be today at 2 o'clock, 2 until 3 o'clock at Pleasant Grove Baptist Church, Pleasant Grove Road, Rutherfordton. And the funeral will take place today at Pleasant Grove Baptist Church as well. And Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of Lois Probst. Joshua Aaron Lowing died February the 14th. No services are planned at this time, and Eggers Funeral Home Cliffside is serving the family of Joshua Aaron Lowing. Charles Chuck Riley III, 63, of Bostic, died Wednesday, February 15th. The funeral will be conducted at 3 o'clock today at Wilson Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery and the visitation will be from 1 until 2:45 today at the church prior to the service. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service is in charge of the arrangements for Charles Chuck Riley III. Floyd Tate Jr., age 85, of Ellenboro, passed away Tuesday, February 14th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. The funeral service will be conducted at 5 o'clock this evening at the Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Floyd Tate Jr. Joseph Horace Alley, age 71, of Rutherfordton, passed away Wednesday, February 15th at Hospice of the Carolina Foothills. Receiving of friends will be from 1 until 3, Saturday, February the 25th, at McMahon's Funeral Home. The memorial service will be at McMahon's Funeral Home Chapel at 3 o'clock, Saturday, February the 25th. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for Joseph Horace Alley. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For complete information on these and others as they become available to us, be sure to tune in today at 11:30. And then again at 5:10 as part of the afternoon Call Around the County newscast for complete information on these and others. It's 16 minutes after 7.
Sequoia, a Cherokee born in 1760 in Tennessee, became a metal craftsman making silver jewelry. While fighting on the American side in the War of 1812, he became intrigued with what he called talking leaves, or words on paper. Although Sequoia had no formal education, he comprehended the basic nature of the symbolic representation of sounds. In 1809, began working on a Cherokee written language. At first, he tried picture symbols, but found them impractical. Looking at English, Greek, and Hebrew, he developed 86 characters that would express the various sounds in the Cherokee language. It was so simple that it could be mastered in less than a week. In 1821, he submitted his new written language to the Cherokee leaders. As a demonstration, Sequoia wrote a message to his 6-year-old daughter. She read the message and responded in kind. The tribal council immediately adopted the system. The Cherokee were divided into two groups, Sequoias in Georgia and Tennessee, and the Western Cherokee in Oklahoma. In 1822, Sequoia went to Oklahoma and taught the alphabet to the Cherokee there. Finally, on February 21, 1828, a printing press with Cherokee type was developed. Within months, the first Indian language newspaper appeared called the Cherokee Phoenix. While in Mexico teaching the Cherokee language, he became ill with dysentery and died. Great monuments to the man who developed the Cherokee alphabet stand today along the northern California coast. They're the great redwood trees called the sequoia. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Listening to the radio, driving in your car. Radio gets results. Radio is there no matter where you are. Radio gets results. When you need to get your message through, people really do listen to you. Coming through loud and clear, no matter what you're telling, no matter what you're selling, everyone will hear. Radio gets results. Radio gets results. Radio gets results. Radio gets results.
We are 100.9 FM, 590 AM, WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Indeed it does. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Call Around the County newscast. It's 20 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we go first to the Sheriff's Department, and Sergeant Brandel is on the other end of the phone line to tell us what's been going on. Good morning, Sergeant Brandel.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing well. Welcome to Monday.
Yes, sir. Past 48 hours, the Sheriff's Office has answered 344 calls processed 13 arrests and currently have 170 incarcerated. Under our arrest reports, we have a Adam Kyle Tipton, 35-year-old white male of Ellenboro, charged with assault with deadly weapon and injury to personal property. No bond listed on that. We have a Shay Clark Powell, 50-year-old white male of Tryon, charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor, given a $500 secure bond. We have a Brandon Thomas Watson, 40-year-old black male of Rutherford, charged with assault on female, violation of the protective order, and common law robbery. No bond listed on that. We have a Christopher Thomas Brooks, 36-year-old white male of Chesney, charged with carrying a concealed weapon, failed to stop for stop sign, and possession of marijuana paraphernalia. Also, let's see, simple possession Schedule 6. $1,000 secured bond on his. Victoria Page Melton, 19-year-old white female of Rutherford, charged with misdemeanor larceny. No bond listed. Jonathan Michael Chancey, 31-year-old white male of Ellenboro, charged with assault with deadly weapon. No bond listed. Carrie Jo Simmons, 40-year-old white female of Morganton, charged with possession of meth. $5,000 secure bond. Matthew Roberts, 36-year-old white male of Rutherford, charged with simple possession of controlled substance, simple possession of marijuana, given a $500 secure bond. Under our incident reports, we have a breaking and entering reported to High Schultz Church Road, Mooresboro. No items listed at this time. We have a breaking and entering motor vehicle reported from Boston Sunshine Highway. Looks like some tools, carton of cigarettes, some cash taken in that incident. We have a common law robbery, assault on female, violation DV order reported from Whitesides Road in Rutherford. It's going to be where Brandon Thomas Watson was arrested. And that's all we have this morning, sir.
All right, Sergeant Reynolds, thank you for being there and giving us that report, and you be safe out there.
You take care. Thank you.
See you now. Bye-bye.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
And here's Jennifer from 911 to tell us what's been going on over there. Good morning, Jennifer. What are you doing?
Good morning. In the past 24 hours, the Rutherford County 911 Communications has processed 603 911 and administrative calls, which consisted of 69 for EMS, 344 for the Sheriff's Office, 102 for Forest City, 39 for Rutherfordton, 12 for Lake Lure, 30 for Spindale. Cliffside Fire Department responded to a motor vehicle accident. Ellenboro also had a motor vehicle accident, and Forest City had a motor vehicle accident. That's all we have.
Thanks, Jennifer. You have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. And we're going over to just left 911. We're going over to SDO Fire District now and talk with Ruby Taylor to find out what kind of calls they've had over there. Ruby, good morning.
Good morning.
What kind of calls has the fire department received?
Well, they didn't have any calls, and I don't have a birthday today, and the signs are in the feet today and tomorrow, and that's all I got, Jim.
All right, Ruby, thank you very much. Enjoy your Monday.
You too, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherfordton.
Now here's Chris Melton. He covers things for us at Chimney Rock Fire District, Lake Lure, and Bills Creek. And Chris, I'm hoping you had a quiet weekend. Did you?
That was a pretty good weekend. Saturday, Lake Lure responded to 2 medical calls, and Sunday was a very good day for us. Didn't really call at all. Had beautiful weather this whole weekend.
Sure did. Wasn't that nice?
Sure was.
It's good to have a nice weather like that and don't have any fire calls or medical calls. You sort of enjoy the beauty of it.
That's right. I've got people who are able to spend time with their families or work or do whatever.
That's right. That's right. Play a little golf, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you a golfer, Chris?
I attempt golf.
You're my kind of golfer.
Yes.
Let's see. Anything else going on?
No other reports or anything else.
All right, Chris. Thanks so very much, and you have a good Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow.
You do the same. Have a good day.
It's the store folks in Western North Carolina depend on. Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply. It's like a superstore. Deer corn, $11.05 for 50 pounds. Cob corn, $10. They have plenty of deer plant supplies. Check on the lower prices on propane, $12.99 for a 20-pound tank. Mulch, gravel, rocks, and supplies for beautiful landscaping. That's available at Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply at lower prices. Open Monday through Saturday. If you want a feed and seed store that carries so much more, including new and used farm equipment, then come on over to Farmer's Friend Feed, Seed, and Supply, 188 Whiteside Road, Rutherfordton.
DeVern Upton is reporting next from Bostic in the Fire District over there. Keep us informed. DeVern, good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm good and happy. Hope you are.
I'm good. I'm happy too.
Good.
Temperature out here is 41 degrees. Fire department had no calls. Had a smooth weekend. We have one birthday, June Bean. She turned 5 today. Don't forget to go to Washburn Store, check all their items out. They have just about anything you need, and get them to make you one of their good cheese tomato sandwiches, and then come on down to the drop-in and check their deli and meat department out, and hope everyone has a wonderful day.
DeVern, thank you. You have a wonderful day, and I will check in on you on Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Let's check in now with Robbie Samuel and see what kind of weekend they had over in Rutherfordton and the area that he covers there in, what is that road up there?
Hudlow.
Yeah, where Bob Hodge lives. Hudlow Road, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to
Good
make,
morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Good.
It was a good weekend. We Hudlow was stayed fairly busy with some medical calls and wreck. I believe they had a wreck. And Robertson, we stayed fairly busy as well. Just we had a few medical calls and assisted Spindale with a possible structure fire at Denny's, but it wasn't. Of course, there wasn't no fire, so that's a good thing. And other than that, that was all we had over the weekend. So hopefully it'll stay that way this week. It won't be too terrible and too busy. And just want to say happy birthday to my sister, Tracy Samuel, too. I hope she has a good day today for a Monday. So.
Hope she does. Tracy Samuel,
Yeah.
happy birthday.
So we'll see how the day goes and talk about it in the morning and let you know how it is.
All right, Robbie. Thank
you
you
have
so
a good
much.
weekend?
I did. I had a pretty pleasant weekend. I just sort of did some piddling around the house, and my old truck died on me. I had to try to do a little work on my truck and didn't get that accomplished. So I just gave up on it, went in the house and sat down and rested.
I don't blame you. Sometimes you just have to. You just have to walk away from it, don't you?
That's exactly what I have to do.
Well, I hope you have a good day, and I hope you get that straightened out.
Thank you. You have a good day, too, and I'll check in with you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks.
See you, Jim.
Bye-bye. That's Robbie Samuel reporting from Rutherfordton and Ludlow. Well, they've already given us a commercial on Washington General Store a moment ago. Let me elaborate on that. You can go by there and find a lot of things for cold weather and warm weather. So whatever your desires are, you can find it. And they always have merchandise made in the good old US of A. It's locally owned, locally run, and those are some factors that I appreciate about them. Plus, when you go in, you get good customer service. Always a smile waiting for you when you walk in the door. And Washburn General Store is a good place to get started for the week between Boston and Sunshine on the Boston Sunshine Highway. And Sue is reporting from Cherry Mountain Fire District today. Sue, good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Hope you are.
Yes, indeed.
Well, good. Looks like we're going to have a pretty day today, maybe.
I believe so.
Some warm days coming up. It'll be like spring, isn't it? Well, I saw the average cost for the fire department, so I guess over the weekend. That's a good thing. Sounds like some of the others had on our ballot. We have too many of those. People be careful. And I don't have any birthdays on my personal calendar, on my church calendar. I've got Herman Campbell. Herman's my cousin, so happy birthday, Herman. And Donna Hughes. I hope Donna have a good day. And nothing on Fridays calendar today, so not too many celebrating. No, it'll be my 70th birthday or anniversary. We'll have a real good day and a special day and enjoy it. And so far, I don't have any announcements coming in, so just quiet and calm over here. Looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thanks, Sue. You have a good day, too, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
Well, if you follow the Tar Heels, you'll want to know that Hubert Davis will be live tonight at 7 o'clock right here from his facilities there in Chapel Hill, and we'll have that broadcast live at 7 o'clock. Hubert Davis, I'm sure they'll talk about that embarrassing defeat on Saturday. It was on Sunday, I believe it was, instead of Saturday. Let's go to reach up Brenda Kelly and see if she's flying in her Marcus. Sunday.
It was terrible, wasn't it?
I tell you.
I didn't sleep last night. I don't know if I was upset over that game or what, but I bet you I hadn't slept 30 minutes all night long.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. but that's all right. I still root and pull for them.
Well, Hubert Davis will be talking about it tonight at 7 o'clock. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about that game.
Yeah, they were. I don't understand why they can't get, even when they're out there at the basket, the balls aren't going in. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Everybody else just walked up and boom, there it is. They got 2 points or 3 points, and I have, I've been a Tar Heel fan all my life.
Yes.
And through the years of watching them, I've seen lots of times when they should have called something on the other team and they didn't do it. But if Carolina done it, they got called for it. And I think some of that happened yesterday. But it is what it is. I can't change it. But
well, sometimes it's hard for the referees to see everything.
I know it. It is. But then they go back and they review it and look at it again and again and again.
Well, they got to do Notre Dame coming up on Wednesday, so we'll see if that's any better.
Well, maybe Armando Baycott needs to get down and have another little pep talk with him.
What now Roy Williams would be handling this?
Oh, my goodness. He'd be chewing them out, wouldn't he?
He was good at that, wasn't he?
Their ears would be burning. But it's a Monday morning. We hope everybody's having a good day so far. It's a pretty morning up here. The sun's about to come through the clouds, and it's going to be pretty warm today, isn't it?
It is going to get up to I believe 60s, I believe.
That's good.
It's some wind.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a nice spring-like day.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, let's see, I've got 36 degrees on the front porch. I don't have any birthdays and anniversaries, but in ways of announcements, Union Mills Wilderness Race, 5K, 10K, ought to be Saturday, February the 25th, 10 a.m., and this is the first race of the Rutherford Outdoor Coalition Service. Points will be awarded for both races, medal for overall, first, second, and third place. So far, that's all I've got going on. And we just want to send our prayers and stuff out to the Jimmy Carter family. And I understand he's on his last few days, maybe.
Yeah, hospice is coming in and looking after him now, so it's a matter of time, I suspect. And he wanted to be at home, and hospice is caring for him at home. A lot of folks choose that option to be at home rather than at hospice.
And I believe I heard him say he was 98 years old.
That's right.
That's something, ain't it?
And stayed active up until just a few years ago.
Yeah. I believe it was when COVID hit, they sort of got inactive.
Yep.
So that would have been about 20.
Taught a Sunday school class for years and built houses and worked on rooftops. And he was quite an active. He's probably the most active retired president we've ever had.
Yeah, and it was stuff that was good. It wasn't all this bad stuff.
That's right. That's right.
We need more people that's going to do that in this world. And I taught Sunday school yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I wish I'd been there to hear that.
Oh, no. It was an easy lesson. It was on David when he had his downfall with Bathsheba.
Oh.
So that was an easy lesson to teach, or I thought it was.
Yeah, well,
if you're familiar with it, some people ain't familiar with nothing in the Bible. So
sometimes that's all they get is what they get in Sunday school. If they don't go to Sunday school, they don't get anything.
That's right. That's exactly right. But we've been filling in for Dick, and
how's he doing?
He's not doing good.
Yes, that's
what I heard. It's not looking good.
Well,
they found some nodules on his brain.
Oh no.
And it had already spread to his liver, and he's going to Charlotte one day this week for a second opinion on treatment to see if he's, what's out there. So,
well,
and just remember him in your prayers.
He's a fine man.
He is. He's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Him and Joan, I just love him. I just fell in love with him right off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Easy folks to love.
Yeah. But you go check on Luke the Sweet Thing, see if he's got everything under control in Ellenburg.
Well, settle down. They'll come back.
Okay, I hope so.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye. Brendan Kelly reporting out of Union Mills this morning, and we'll get over to Ellenboro in just a moment. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. And we're going over to Ellenboro now and talk with Luther Gilligan and get a report from him and that fire department over there to see what's going on. And here he is now on the phone. Luther, good morning.
Good morning, you too. Nice morning down here this morning. It's Monday morning. We get to go back to work.
Sun coming up.
Sun's coming up. Looking good.
That's good.
Going to warm up, be a nice day. We're going out here and have a good time.
Good.
But it's quiet this morning. I had a quiet weekend for most part. The fire department had 2 calls. They had 1 medical call and had 1 accident, but the accident wound up in Cleveland County, so they canceled a little more on that one. They just had took care of that 1 call. And other than that, things were quiet then. They're quiet this morning. Everybody's just trying to get started back to work. So you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Luther. I'll see you then.
All right, take care now.
It's time now for birthdays, anniversaries for this 20th day of February. This month's getting going in a hurry, isn't it? February the 20th, birthdays and anniversaries can be called into us now. Tracy's standing by up there to take those calls at 287-3356. That's 287-3356. Birthdays for the 20th of February. Or if you had a birthday yesterday, we'll recognize it today for that one as well because we don't do them on Sundays. But we'll be glad to share your birthday and give you a big shout out. 287-3356.
Cheryl, I've been talking to Tommy and David, the outside salesmen at Henson Building Materials in Forest City. They're going to help us navigate through our remodeling project.
Well, I know they have tons of experience, so we'll be in good hands.
Good hands is right. Even professional builders shop there because they trust the quality products and service.
And did you know they have a great relationship with our community, too? Oh, they're so nice.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
We want to wish Timmy Campbell a happy birthday today. Timmy's 20 years old, lives over in Forest City. So, Timmy, congratulations on another birthday and happy birthday. And have many, many more happy returns. Timmy Campbell. Well, after 8 o'clock this morning, we'll check the job market report, see where jobs are, and kind of where we can go to get one and how much money they're going to pay us when we get it. So we'll find all about that. And hopefully get in touch with Wayne Rollins to talk with him about what's cooking today. All that straight ahead here exclusively on WCAB.
Raised in China by missionary parents and sent to school in Korea, Ruth Bell Graham fully intended to spend her life as a single missionary to Tibet. However, in between her studies, she did take the time to write down a few characteristics she would look for if the prospect of a husband ever came around. In her list of "if I marry," Ruth Bell wrote, "He must be so tall that when he is on his knees, he reaches all the way to heaven. His shoulders must be broad enough to bear the burden of a family. His lips must be strong enough to smile, firm enough to say no and tender enough to kiss. Love must be so deep that it takes its stand in Christ, and so wide that it takes the whole lost world in. He must be active enough to save souls. He must be big enough to be gentle and great enough to be thoughtful. His arms must be strong enough to carry a little child. A few years later, after writing this list, Ruth Bell married the Reverend Billy Graham, who went on to become the world-acclaimed evangelist. Are you preparing for marriage, or maybe thinking about it in a case someone comes along? Having in mind the kind of person you want in a marriage relationship is vitally important. Don't just settle for anyone. Make sure you are looking for the right one. This is Bill Hostler with today's key to confident living. Scripts for these programs are sold in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
Blinken promised another $100 million in U.S. aid, adding that American assistance also includes help for Syria. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
At the Plains, Georgia Sunday School, where former President Jimmy Carter has taught for decades, Jan Williams says the 98-year-old is in their thoughts.
He cared about the people of Plains tremendously. He cares about the whole world.
Carter opting for hospice care at home in Plains as opposed to any more hospital treatments at the end of his life. Students returning to class today at Michigan State University for the first time since last week's campus shootings that left 3 dead. People in East Palestine, Ohio continue saying they're not getting enough information from FEMA on cleanup efforts following the train derailment more than 2 weeks ago. You're listening to ABC News.
You may know the story of Emmett Till, the 14-year-old boy who was brutally beaten and murdered in Mississippi. But you might have never heard his story if it weren't for one woman, his grieving mother, who turned her son's death into a rallying cry for justice.
A voice said to me, the world will cry for Emmett Till.
From ABC Audio comes Reclaimed, the story of Mamie Till Mobley. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Wait a minute. You mean now I can listen to GMA any time of the day, anywhere?
Yes, that's exactly what we mean with the new Good Morning America podcast. Listen to all of GMA served up daily straight to you. Oh, Michael.
What? I'm listening to our new GMA podcast. It's really good.
Listen to the Good Morning America podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Subscribe now. It's really good.
More missile tests from North Korea, the second round in the last 3 days. The military there firing off some short-range missiles after launching an ICBM on Saturday. Facebook and Instagram taking a page from Twitter, testing out a system that would have people pay to be verified. Mark Zuckerberg posting the program will cost $12 a month. Users would get a blue verified badge and direct access to customer support. The program being tested first in Australia and New Zealand before spreading elsewhere. An artificial intelligence comedy show is coming back today after being forced into a hiatus. Explaining, here's ABC's Mike Dubusky.
If Seinfeld was the show about nothing, then Nothing Forever is its AI-generated equivalent.
What did they call the bear with no teeth? A gummy bear.
Scripts, sets, and actors are all created by an AI program and live streamed on the internet through Twitch. Or at least that was the case until the show was booted from the live streaming platform 2 weeks ago. Twitch banning the project after the Jerry Seinfeld stand-in started making bigoted and transphobic remarks. Creators Mismatch Media blamed the incident on an outdated AI model and told The Verge the new version looks really good. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Something unusual pulled out of a lake in Brooklyn, New York, a 4-foot-long alligator. Officials say the cold left it lethargic. Police are trying to figure out who dumped it there. This is ABC News.
Spending time in nature improves kids' fitness, creativity, confidence, and other important skills. Nature Rocks helps families get out into nature by showing you places to go and what to do in your area to get kids outside and really having fun in nature. You can search activities by age, time available, and even weather conditions. Playing in nature is good for the whole family. So visit nature.org, Nature Rocks, for helpful tips and resources. And then, get outside.
I'm Sherry.
Highs today will reach the lower 60s and lower 70s by the afternoon. We are going to see some afternoon showers through our north with weak disturbance moving through. It is not going to be widespread by any means. By tonight, we're down into the mid-40s. Highs in the low to mid-70s. Tomorrow is going to be a warmer day. We will watch a front lifter. It's going to bring some gusty winds into our region. The chance of a few passing showers in our southern counties. We are going to see record highs build in by Wednesday and Thursday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And it's warming up nicely. We're at 41 degrees right now and looking for a temperature of around 67 today with some gusty winds, about 21 miles per hour. So that's going to make a difference in how it feels out there. 67 and cool winds as much as 21 miles per hour gusts. And then tonight, mostly cloudy with lows around 52 with wind gusts as high as 18 miles per hour. So we have pretty weather all week. No rain. I don't see any rain at all, but a lot of wind this week, all the way through Saturday. We have some scattered showers expectations on Saturday, Saturday night, and Sunday. Well, let's check in now with Anita, find out where some jobs are. I just wasn't sure if y'all were working today or not, Anita.
No, it's a federal holiday. We don't even get this holiday.
Oh, well, I'd feel bad about that if I were you.
Of course, you don't get it either, so I mean, you know.
We don't get any holidays. But y'all get Martin Luther King Jr. birthday, don't you?
Yeah, we get Martin Luther King Jr., yeah.
Okay.
The next holiday will be Easter, which will be Good Friday, but that won't affect us at all.
Oh.
Being you, that is.
I know what you mean. Where the jobs are today?
We have a front desk associate in Far City. That is $14 an hour. They require high school diploma and 1 year experience. An overnight associate in Mill Springs. That's $15.50 an hour, high school diploma and 6 months experience. An assistant warehouse manager in Far City. That's $17 an hour, high school diploma and 1 year experience. A recovery guide in Ellenboro. That's a high school diploma. A data entry associate in Far City. That is $12 an hour, high school diploma and 6 months experience. A customer service representative in Columbus. That is $15 an hour, high school diploma and 1 year. A delivery residential cart driver in Columbus. That's a high school diploma and 1 year. The pay is dependent on experience. A manufacturing supervisor on third shift. That is Far City. That requires 1 year experience. An injection molding process technician in Far City. That pay is $29.95 an hour. That's a high school diploma and 5 years experience. A quality inspector in Lindman, South Carolina. That is $16.50 an hour, high school diploma. A dump truck driver up in Rutherfordton. That is $12 to $15 an hour, high school diploma and 6 months experience. A nail technician in Far City. That is $25,000 a year. There's no experience and no education required. A cleaner in Columbus. That is $13 an hour. No education and no experience is required. And tomorrow, I had to look at the right date. At 10, we have a virtual workshop, social media for the job search. These tips will help you learn how to conduct an effective job search, even on social media, on the LinkedIn and all those platforms. And for any of these jobs and for the workshops, just give us a call here at 828-286-3042. Or come and see us. We're 223 on Charlotte Road. But also, next Wednesday, we will be in the Polk County Library with the Polk County Library on the first and the third Wednesday of every month from 9, and because they don't open until 9, until 4.
That's a good thing. All righty. Anything else?
No, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and everybody on here.
You have a wonderful day as well, and good week, and I'll check in with you next week.
Thanks. Talk to you next
Thanks,
week.
Anita. Bye-bye. It's 8:09. That's pretty good job. I can't imagine why anybody couldn't find a job. If they wanted to go to work, they're sitting down jobs, they're standing up jobs, and they're manual working jobs, and they're jobs that require your mind working. So it's a job for somebody everywhere out there across the fruited plain. So get off those, whats, and get you a job and go to work and help us pay some of these taxes that we're paying. 10 minutes after 8 o'clock, we're going to see if we can get Wayne Rollins on the phone now and see what he's got cooking over there.
When you shop at Hardin's Drugstore, Church Street in Forest City, they treat you like family. They care about you and your needs, and it shows. Hardin's Drugs is a family-owned business serving Rutherford County since '73. COVID-19 vaccines, walk-ins are always welcome, and they offer curbside pickup, and they're open 7 days a week. Your friends at Hardin's Drugstore remind you February is Go Red for Women Month. Cardiovascular disease is the #1 killer among women in the U.S., so encourage your loved ones to prevent heart disease. Education, prevention saves lives. Brought to you by Hardin's Drugs, and you'll find them on South Church Street in Forest City.
Well, Wayne Rollins, I bet you didn't get much rest over the weekend, did you?
Man, there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend, but we got a little time in there in between some things, so I rested up a little bit. We're ready to go. We ain't got nothing going on this weekend, so
all right. Good food
we got
coming.
just four good days. It looks like we're going to have some good weather. meteorologist, but I mean, I've never seen the 70s and possibly 80 by Thursday.
Isn't that real?
It's just crazy for February. I mean, I think it's setting us up for a disastrous March. I don't know. I don't remember back when we had that big storm in March, but to have 70s and 80s, it's like a false spring, I guess. I don't know, but we got a nice little sit-down area out there for people that'll definitely be able to enjoy that this week with those type of temperatures. Come by for lunch or dinner as far as that goes. If it's going to be in the 70s, it'll still be good late in the evening.
Sure.
So,
if it wasn't for those gusty winds, we'd feel like we were at the beach.
I know it does. It's sort of crazy. Some of those winds the other night got pretty strong. I had some things get turned over out in the backyard and everything. So I don't know, just crazy weather. But yeah, over the weekend we had a couple little caterings on Friday, and just enjoy doing those. A lot of times you get to go to different places or whatever that you haven't been to, and you definitely get a lot of, I guess, advertisement for people that, may have never, come by, or, you show up with sirloin tips and stuff like that, and they're like, man, I thought you had a little hamburger joint in Spindale. And, yeah, well, I do, but we also do the catering where we can bring out food like this, and had a lot of good response from the caterings that we did over the weekend, and did some box lunches for a company here in the county. And that's always a good thing when they have meetings like that. We can do a box lunch, and what they did is they broke it down, and they had some of the Spindale Phillies. They had the grilled chicken Phillies. They did chicken salad on croissants, and then they did some chef salad. So they broke it down where their people had, 4 options, and, the salads didn't get chips, but all the sandwiches got chips and a cookie, and it's just a little box lunch, and they had their meetings, and then they did lunch, and people just picked up a box lunch and went back to their tables, and, then they had some more meetings after that. So, and then you go from that to, we had another one that evening that was, sirloin tips, chicken pie, green beans, macaroni and cheese, slaw, and rolls. So it's just a wide variety, just like at the restaurant. Our catering is, I've always said we can do the backyard barbecue, or we can do the sit-down wedding. So a lot of variety with that, and I think that's how people take advantage of it. But love doing the caterings because you get to meet and, see a lot of people that probably haven't had the opportunity to come eat with you. So once you got your good foot forward on your caterings, most of the time they end up being pretty good for you as far as advertisement. So that's always yeah, it does. It expands it out for the people that never have gotten to come by. And again, the one guy's like, man, I didn't even know you did this kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man. I said, it's more than just hamburgers and hot dogs, that's for sure.
I don't know if I mentioned this to you before, and I may have. If I did, forgive me, but it's worth mentioning again. Someone told me recently, they were talking about your place, and they said, if you want a good chef salad, that's the best one I've ever had. So whatever you do with your chef salads, people are loving it.
Well, I don't know, Jim. I mean, there's really nothing special about them. I mean, it's definitely a good-sized salad. We try to make sure, I mean, my thing, if you're going to eat healthy, I'm going to make sure you got enough to keep you going. But our chef salads, I mean, most of our salads that we do are based on, we do lettuce, tomatoes, carrots, onions, bell peppers, and then we got cheese, an egg, croutons, and bacon bits. And then if you want the chef salad, then we cut up, the ham and turkey that we use there in-house for the sandwiches. And, if you get a handful of my ham and turkey, you've got a handful. So you've got that for the chef salads, but then on top of that, you can do the calabash chicken. We cut up 3 or 4 pieces of chicken and put right on top of it, or you can do the grilled chicken and get that put right on top of it. So that's 3 options that you can do there. And we've had people even take like a hamburger patty. They'll take a hamburger patty, chop it up, put some cheese on it, or peppers and onions, and they'll put it right on top of the chef salad. Or like today, we've got, our special sandwich for lunch is the grilled chicken Philly. You take our grilled chicken and put it on the grill, put peppers and onions and provolone cheese, and then we make the basic chef salad, and we just put that right on top of it. Now, that's a really nice salad there. it's a good one, and we've got a wide variety of dressings too. You know, we don't just have the ranch and Thousand Island and honey mustard. We got some balsamic vinaigrette. We got some garlic parmesan. We've got a new one that we just got in the other day. It's a real good one. It's a wine and basil. It's a really good vinaigrette. We've had it tried for different people. So ask about our different options in dressing, because we've got more than just your basic four. If you're wanting to switch it up and try something new.
Yeah. What's for supper tonight?
Tonight we're gonna run one we hadn't run in a while. Switching it up tonight, we're gonna do some good old pot roast. Put two big old roasts on yesterday and cooked them for a while, and we'll finish them up this morning. And then we've got some good old potatoes and carrots and celery and onions that we cook off to the side, off with the juice and all that come off of them. So you'll have that as an option for your meats tonight, along, of course, with, you know, we'll have the hamburger steaks and flounder and the baked ham and the chicken. And then tonight we're also going to run our green lima beans. We'll have them tonight. It's a popular item. We've had a couple people request them. We run them a couple of days ago, and some people said, man, that was good green limas you had there. So we're going to run them. We'll have some macaroni and cheese tonight. We've had a lot of people asking about that. And I made a big old bowl of pasta salad this morning, too. So we're good to go on it. It's just a good old pasta salad made with ranch dressing, and we put tomatoes and carrots and bacon bits and piment sets all day. It's going to be really good, too. So, and then, of course, the featured dessert. I definitely encourage everybody, if they haven't tried this tonight, we'll have it at 3 o'clock, is my pear cobbler. A lot of people have never even heard of pear cobbler, but it's definitely a good one to try. We make it up just sort of like we do our peach and apple, but on the crust that we pour over the top of it, we sprinkle some pecans in there, and that texture with the pears is just, it's a really good cobbler that a lot of people have never tried before. So I encourage everybody to come by and give that a try, if nothing else, because I know it'll be good.
One thing I admire and appreciate you, Wayne, is that there's never any complacency with you and your menus. You always stay on top of what's best for next time. So I like that.
Well, I try to give everybody a variety, and I know everybody, you know, they like having meatloaf on Mondays, and I know a lot of people do, and we sold a lot last Monday, and I try to switch it up every once in a while and have some different things, because you never know when that might become your next favorite item. Yes. The pot roast is definitely slow cooked, and, you know, them good old vegetables to go with it, just hard to beat. So we try to switch it up a little bit and do things, you know, so people don't get complacent with the same old things. And I think, again, that's what, you know, gives that family that, you know, they can come by, well, if I want a hamburger steak, but you want, you know, you wanted pot roast, or you wanted, the kids want chicken tenders, you know, we have that option for you. So it's just a wide variety and a good little place to eat.
It's Wayne's Lunchbox in Spindale. You can't miss it. Go by and enjoy a meal with Wayne, either for lunch or for dinner tonight. And Wayne, it's good to talk with you, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
All right, sounds good, Jim. Have a good week.
Thank you. 19 minutes after 8 o'clock, the Sheriff's Report coming up here in just a few.
You already know Tri-City Tire Service is your complete and professional auto service, offering services in brakes, alignments, tune-ups, oil changes, inspections, lift kits, and of course a complete tire service. But did you know they also have tires for commercial, farm tractors, ATVs, and they also carry mowers, power equipment by Red Max. Tri-City Tire Service is located at 221 Daniel Road in Forest City. Give them a call at 828-287-8778. Tri-City Tire Service, your local tire and auto service center.
If you need a legal consultation regarding wills, real estate, closings, Medicaid planning, or just legal representation, contact attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin at the Arledge Law Firm on East Court Street in Rutherfordton. They offer years of experience and expertise. Arledge Law Firm is your local professional law firm that really cares about their clients, and it shows. Whatever the situation you're facing, call 828-287-3338. Let the professional team go to work for you.
Hungry? Lunchtime, dinner time, anytime is a good time to stop in at Gregory's Original Restaurant. Choose from fresh, delicious burgers, fries, sandwiches, pasta dishes, fresh salads, grinders, and so much more. All orders are prepared fresh and to perfection. Open Monday through Friday, 11 till 9, Saturdays, noon till 9, closed on Sundays. Call in or carry out. 828-287-2171. Located in the Parkland Plaza in Rutherford, and DoorDash delivery is available. Fast and friendly service. That's Gregory's Original Restaurant.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. We know that due to COVID, many people don't want to come in the office. If you need to discuss your insurance needs or just make a payment, you can come through the drive-thru, telephone us, or drop in. We want to see you, but it doesn't have to be across from a desk. Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City.
You may have heard former U.S. Representative and then Senator Jim Broyhill passed away over the weekend. Noted statesman and well-respected businessman and politician from years gone by. Good friend of Governor Jim Martin's and good friend of many others. Jim Broyhill has passed away. More details on that later. Right now it's 22 past 8 o'clock. And the sheriff's report is given to us now with Sergeant Brandel.
Yes, sir. Past 48 hours, the sheriff's office has answered 344 calls, processed 13 arrests, and currently have 170 incarcerated. Under our arrest reports, we have a Adam Kyle Tipton, 35-year-old white male of Ellenborough, charged with assault with deadly weapon and injury to personal property. No bond listed on that. We have a Shay Clark Powell, 50-year-old white male of Tryon, charged with failure to appear on a misdemeanor, given a $500 secure bond. We have a Brandon Thomas Watson, 40-year-old black male of Rutherford, charged with assault on a female, violation of a protective order, and common law robbery. No bond listed on that. We have a Christopher Thomas Brooks, 36-year-old white male of Chesney, charged with carrying a concealed weapon, failed to stop for stop sign, and possession of marijuana paraphernalia. Also, let's see, simple possession, Schedule 6. $1,000 secured bond on his. Victoria Page Melton, 19-year-old white female of Rutherford, charged with misdemeanor larceny. No bond listed. Jonathan Michael Chancey, 31-year-old white male of Ellenborough, charged with assault with deadly weapon. No bond listed. Carrie Jo Simmons, 40-year-old white female of Morganton, charged with possession of meth. $5,000 secure bond. Matthew Roberts, 36-year-old white male of Rutherford, charged with simple possession of controlled substance, simple possession of marijuana, given a $500 secure bond. Under incident reports, we have a breaking and entering reported to High Shoals Church Road, Mooresboro. No items listed at this time. We have a breaking and entering motor vehicle reported from Boston Sunshine Highway. Looks like some tools, carton of cigarettes, some cash taken in that incident. We have a common law robbery, assault on female, violation DV order reported from Whitesides Road, Rutherford. It's going to be where Brandon Thomas Watson was arrested. And that's all we have this morning, sir.
NCN Sports, I'm Nate Saunders. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finally wins NASCAR's season-opening Cup race. Correspondent Jerry Jordan reports.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. had attempted 11 Daytona 500s before Sunday's Great American Race, but when the caution came out in double overtime on the final lap, he just edged ahead of Joey Logano to take the win.
It's been a dream for a long time, and super cool for us to be here.
Stenhouse said early in the race he missed a wreck because he was speeding on pit road and serving his penalty.
Everything played out perfectly for us at the end of that. I mean, it's a Daytona 500. It's a long race. You're going to have good parts and bad parts, but we just kept pushing through.
Logano said the caution came out just a split second too late for him to be the one that benefited as he and Stenhouse traded positions. Christopher Bell rounded out the top three. Jerry Jordan, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Logano said it was very close.
I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it was really close.
Oh, man, it hurts, stings, and sucks. There's not really much you can say about it.
The top player from the top team makes top honors in the NBA All-Star Game. Correspondent Tom Merriam has more.
Jason Tatum scored an NBA All-Star Game record 55 points to lead Team Giannis to a 184-175 victory over Team LeBron. The Celtics forward scored 27 points in the third quarter, positioning him to eclipse Anthony Davis's record of 52 and win the Kobe Bryant MVP award.
I wanted to win MVP. I didn't think I'd get 55. But, that's icing on the cake.
The Cavaliers' Donovan Mitchell added 40 points in his return to his former home court in Salt Lake City for Team Giannis. Tatum's Boston teammate Jaylen Brown led Team LeBron with 35. LeBron and Giannis each sat out most of the game with injuries. I'm Tom Merriam.
And Elvis Andrus has agreed to a $3 million one-year contract with the Chicago White Sox, likely filling the team's hole at second base. The 34-year-old finished last season with the White Sox. You're listening to NCN Sports.
Look, we might be learning to live with COVID.
Schools and sports are back.
Stay-at-home orders are over. But the effects of COVID-19 are still here.
Right here.
We have the tools, and a little goes a long way.
Vaccines, testing, and masks when you're not feeling well.
Let's keep moving forward.
COVID is unpredictable.
Get your shot to protect yourself and your loved ones.
Stay protected against COVID-19. Find the updated booster at myspot.nc.gov.
Science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM, is an important part of instruction, but not all schools have funding to provide it. NC Green Power is a nonprofit supporting STEM education through its Solar Plus Schools grant program. Donations will help provide training for teachers and hands-on activities for their students. Plus, the included solar array will significantly lower schools' energy costs. Help your students by supporting Solar Plus Schools today. Visit ncgreenpower.org. Donate to benefit STEM education. ncgreenpower.org.
Jarkel Joyner took over for number 23 North Carolina State during a critical second-half stretch, matching a season high with 29 points to lead the Wolfpack past rival North Carolina 77-69 on Sunday. Joyner had 20 of his points after the break for the Wolfpack. That included an impressive flurry in a tight game that finally gave NC State some breathing room. Caleb Love scored 23 points to lead the Tar Heels, which continued a February crash that has put their NCAA tournament chances in growing jeopardy. UNC lost for the fifth time in 6 games. Tonight in hockey, Ottawa goes to Boston, a big matchup beginning at 1 p.m. Tonight in college basketball, Louisville visits Duke. They'll tip off at 7, and number 5 Kansas and number 22 TCU at 9. I'm Nate Saunders, NCN Sports.
Highs today will reach the lower 60s and lower 70s by the afternoon. We are going to see some afternoon showers through our north with weak disturbance moving through. It is not going to be widespread by any means. By tonight, we're down into the mid-40s, highs in the low to mid-70s. Tomorrow is going to be a warmer day. We will watch a front move through. It's going to bring some gusty winds into our region. The chance of a few passing showers in our southern counties. We are going to see record highs build in by Wednesday and Thursday. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Wind gusts as high as 21 miles per hour today, and then by Thursday we're expecting a high near 82 degrees with wind as high as 29 miles per hour. Gusts as high as 29 miles per hour by Thursday with 82 degrees for our temperature reading for Thursday. It's 8:30. This is WCAB Rutherfordton, and time for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program. And with the program today is Gary and Lisa Brown.
Good morning, Rutherford County, and everybody else that's listening. We're very, very glad that you're with us this morning. We want to just share with you some things that God's really been showing us in our hearts, things that He's been working in our hearts. And when He works in our hearts, He changes us. And we're very grateful for that, because every time He changes us, we get closer and closer to living in His presence all the time. I want to start out with a scripture in Isaiah chapter 30. It's verse 18. And really the whole chapter of Isaiah 30 talks about the rebellion of Israel. And really there's rebellion in all of us because we were born with a sin nature. And until Jesus comes on the inside of us, we're sinners. So Isaiah 30 talks about the sin in the Israelites and also us. But in verse 18 it says, and therefore the Lord earnestly waits expecting, looking, and longing to be gracious to you. Therefore he lifts himself up, that he may have mercy on you, show loving kindness to you. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed and happy and fortunate and to be envied are all those who earnestly wait for him, who expect and look and long for him, for his joy, his peace, his matchless, unbroken companionship. That, to me, speaks a lot of my life and really our life together also. I've been on the program before and gotten to share, and it's been a real honor. But I wanted to say, I was born in Bethesda, Maryland, and we moved when I was younger, different states and everything. I moved to Clearwater, Florida in 1973, and I met Gary in St. Petersburg in 1974. We got married, and we had 3 children, and we moved to Crystal River, just north of St. Petersburg, in 1978. And we both worked in a print shop that his mom and stepfather had. We had our children there. I had them in school there. And I really wanted to start getting them to a church. There was really a desire in my heart to be in a church where I could learn about Jesus and teach my children about Jesus. And we went to different churches down there in Crystal River. It was a small area, but we never found one that really had what we were looking for, what we expected.
And I wanted to start with a scripture that I had that really, what we're going to be sharing about is how God picked us up and moved us. Like she said, we were working in a print shop that actually it was my stepfather and I had begun this particular print shop that was eventually would eventually be my business, but we worked on it together. But anyway, the scripture I wanted to start with was John 15. It's 14 through 17, and it reads, "You are my friends if you keep on doing the things I command you to do. I do not call you servants any longer, for the servant does not know what the master's doing, what he's working out. But I have called you my friends, because I have made known to you everything that I've heard from my Father. I've revealed to you everything I've learned from him. You have not chosen me, but I've chosen you, and I have appointed you, and I've planted you, that you might go and bear fruit and keep on bearing, and that your fruit may be lasting, that it may remain, abide, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, as presenting all that I am, he may give it to you. This is what I command you, that you love one another." I was born in Ohio and was brought up in the Lutheran Church. I went into the Air Force in 1964, and I spent 1 year in Texas in training, and I lived in Germany for 2 years, and then my last year in the Air Force was spent in Da Nang, Vietnam. After I got out of the Air Force, I lived at home back in Ohio and worked there in Ohio for several years. And my mother and stepfather had moved to Florida, and he had started a little print shop down there and was having some health problems. So at the time I wasn't doing anything, so I moved down to help him out. And that was in Treasure Island, Florida, which is basically a part of St. Petersburg. So Lisa and I met in St. Petersburg, and we got married and began a family. And once we had children, she began to go to church. We hadn't gone to church previously, but she began to take the children to church. But I just, after all my travels and time traveling around the world, I just didn't want anything to do with church. So I just stayed home and I'd watch evangelists on TV. But after a lot of encouragement from her, I began to occasionally go to church with her, the children, and gradually there was one particular church in Crystal River that I began to get involved in. But it's suddenly the pastor. We had built a Christian school, had our own building and everything that we had built, and everything seemed to be going pretty well. But suddenly the pastor closed the Christian school, very suddenly and without really, we just didn't understand why. And a few weeks later, he closed the church. It was quite a shock to all of us. A lot of people would come to Florida during the winter months. We call them snowbirds. And there was quite a few of those people would come to that church. And so the first 2 weeks after it was closed, I would go early, and I wanted to see if there was anything posted on the church explaining what had happened, and there was not. So I would meet the people as they came and try, even though I didn't have any answers for them, I just at least let them know that the church was closed, and I didn't understand why. But
It was a hard time. It was a very hard time. We were really involved in the church and in the school. We had women's prayer groups. We had seminars. We had a lot. And I was, like I said, very involved in the church, got close to a lot of people. It was devastating to a lot of people. It was devastating to our children. They were in grade school, and it was just a really difficult time. And then even in the midst of all that, the pastor got to the local newspaper and told them that we weren't supporting him, and that's why he left town. And it was hard. And because of working in the church and everything, there were a lot of people that called my phone constantly at my house that just didn't understand. They had problems. They didn't know what to do. They had situations that they didn't know how to handle. And I remember that also put a major cry in my heart because I wanted to help them. I knew them, and I had grown to love them, and I really wanted to help them. So we had to find a school for our children. It was during the winter break. We had to find a school for our children and get them enrolled. There was just a lot that was going on at that time. We went to other churches in the area, but we just couldn't find one to meet the hunger I know that was in my heart. And I wanted something very stable. I wanted something with a good foundation for our children also. So we just kept searching and searching to find a church that would teach and live the reality of God. That's what we wanted.
Soon after this, we met Robert and Marcia Lowry through some mutual friends, and they became aware of our situation and decided to start a church. So Robert would preach to us, and he'd always start by saying you need to have a personal, intimate relationship with Jesus. And that was new to us, and it was also new to us to have someone that would be so genuine, and
he really cared.
Yeah, and also that they would live a daily life. Their daily life was what they preached, and that was new to us. Robert and Marcia was affiliated with Word of Faith Fellowship in Spindale, and so we began to go, especially Lisa and the children, go to seminars that they were holding in North Carolina, and I would go as soon as I got enough vacation time and time off. Then I also would go to some of the seminars. Lisa, God had spoke to Lisa and the children that we were to move to North Carolina. But I mentioned the print shop, and like I say, the original concept of that print shop was my stepfather and I would jointly build this business, and then eventually it would become mine. So I had actually worked for 7 years helping to build this business. And one morning I was shaving, and I heard the voice of God, just loud and clear. And he said, "Who are your friends?" And I thought of two that worked with me in the print shop, but at the same time I was trying to think of more. At the same time, even as I was thinking of them, I began to think of faces and see faces of people that I had met when I had been up here on seminars. People I didn't even know. I didn't know their names or anything, but I began to see all these faces, and I thought that's really, he's trying to tell me something, and I realized that he was letting me know through that we were all supposed to move to North Carolina. So I immediately called out to Lisa and said, call Marcia and see if there's a house available in North Carolina.
Which I did immediately before he could have a chance to change his mind.
Soon after this had happened, my stepfather called me into his office and said, "Gary," said, "it's time for you to take over the business." And not only that, he mentioned the home we were living in. He had purchased a home for us to live in that we were renting from him, and it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. And he said, "I've also made arrangements that you could buy the house for half what it's worth." So here I was. I had worked all this time for this business, and there it was. But I had to tell him, "I'm sorry, we're moving to North Carolina." So Lisa, the children, had a short time after this, Lisa and the children had gone to North Carolina to a seminar, and they never came back to Florida. So I got a U-Haul truck and packed up the truck and the bird and the hamster and the cat, and and I moved to North Carolina, and this was in about a month. So
we had $600.
Yeah, I had $640, and the house that we were going to rent was $300 a month. They had animals. It was their home. They had to go to another state for business, and was going to be gone for a year, possibly 2 years. And they needed somebody to stay in their house and keep it up and take care of the animals. So the rent was $300 a month, so I had enough for first and last month's rent. and to establish that. And then I had $40 left over, which I needed for the U-Haul truck to get everything packed up and moved. So.
And this was a time, I think this is the first time that I really began to realize that when God tells you to do something, He's going to work it out. I didn't understand that in my mind, and I knew my mind wanted to question it several times, but there was something deep on the inside of me, and I understand it now, where God was drawing us and bringing us here and was going to do a work in us. And it wasn't just for Gary and I and our children, but it was for my family, for his family, for all of those people that we were going to meet, we had met, family members, whatever, that as he did a work in us, that work was going to be spread to others also. And that was the main desire of my heart. So when God said move, I said yes.
And it's hard for me to believe, even now, that it had to be God's grace that I was able to tell my stepfather that I wasn't pulled to stay there and let them go ahead and move. That wasn't even a thought. Pretty much, I had just made up my mind we were going to move, and that was it. I had mentioned about the friends, the things about the friends, and that I could only think of two friends that I had there, and here we are. We pick up and move to a whole new start all over. I had no job when we moved here. I had no job, and we were actually the building that we have now, the sanctuary that we have now, was under construction, and they needed. I wanted to work. I wanted to help with the church. I told them the general contractor was Chris Carlson and Ray Farmer, and I told them, I said, I'd like to work the church for a week just to kind of help out. And they said, well, we really have people, that want to help like that, but we need employees. So we really need somebody to work for us. So I became Carlson Farmer's second employee and full-time employee, and we're working on the sanctuary and the church buildings. So I didn't really have construction experience, but they needed help, so I was willing to help. And once we finished the church buildings and sanctuary, then we had Carlson Farmer, was a general contractor. They had other jobs, and we began to travel around the county, and especially Lake Lure. We did custom homes in Lake Lure, and then other remodel jobs all around. So I worked for Carlson Farmer for 15 years, and then I went and started working for Josh Farmer, who had apartment complexes, and I did maintenance there at his apartment complexes for 10 years. Then I began to work for Josh and Ray again in Freight Works, a trucking company, and which I'm still employed with Freight Works. Through all the construction and all the work, I met and worked with a lot of people and became, friends. So I go back to that time when God spoke to me, who's your friends? And could only think of two. But
in Florida. But here.
But now I can look around and I see hundreds of faces now, and they all have names, and they're my friends.
And the work really that God has done in our hearts, and we've been through a lot since we came here. Gary and I have been married 47 years, I believe it is. And we've been through a lot. We went through a lot in Florida. We went through a lot even after we came up here. The more we really put our stake in the ground that all we wanted was Jesus and we wanted His will, we had people around us that didn't want the same thing, but we did. And for me, it put my stake deeper and deeper in the ground. I want Jesus. I just want Jesus. I just want His will. God has gotten us 2 houses, and at the time that He got us the 2 houses, we didn't have any money. We had bills to pay. We had a lot going on. But at every point, again, God would speak to me and put it in my heart, this is your house. And He would bring it all to pass. The first house that we bought when we moved here was right after we had come, actually. We'd only been here like a month and a half. And the people we were renting from that Gary mentioned when we first moved here came back in town. He had lost his job, and it had ended, and we had to find a house. And I cried out to God and cried out to God. We drove around and drove around. We looked at rentals, but we had no money. So it was just a matter of, Jesus, where do we go? And I went to a realtor, and she had just put a house on the market right down from the hospital on Manfredo Street. And we went to look at it, and I knew in my heart it was ours. But there again, I don't know how we were going to pay for it, but I just knew God said, and God got us that house. The president of the bank where we got the loan was a friend of the man that was selling the house. He loved us. He worked everything out ahead of time. I don't think we even had to pay for the electricity to be turned on or anything. I mean, God just opened every single door for us. And the house immediately became a house ministry. We had people in and out. We had people stay with us. We had seminars. We just had a time where we were beginning to really learn Jesus. I taught in the Christian school at the Word of Faith here, and I loved every single minute of it. I worked at the hospital in the snack bar. I worked at Tanner's for 12 years, and it's been busy, but I loved it. I've loved every single bit because at every point God said. And when God directs you to do something, it's the greatest thing. You can't think about it. You can't question it. You can't do anything but just do what He tells you to do. The second house we got, again, I had a lot of medical bills. I had some damage done to my eyes. I had to have surgery, so I had a lot of medical bills. We didn't have any insurance. But we stayed to take care of a lady in this one house where we are now, and I really liked the house. But we didn't have any furniture other than our bedroom suite, and we had some things for the kitchen and our clothes. And the lady passed away, and so it was presented to us that we could buy the house. And again, I'm not thinking about this. I felt in my heart that it was God saying that. I went to talk to a lot of encouragement from my friends, and I went and I talked to somebody about getting a loan for the house, and I turned all my paperwork in, and God had just taught me over the years how to get your credit up and how to keep your bills paid and when God teaches you to do things, it's part of your life. You love doing it, and you see the fruit of it, and we did. We saw the fruit of it. And we got the house, we got the loan, our credit was excellent. We love the house, and again, it's a ministry house, and that's what we want. We want to help others. God's helped us so much over the years, and we want to help others. In 2020, when COVID first came out, I had shared before, I had a severe case of COVID. I had double pneumonia. My heart went into AFib. I had sepsis, and I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I spent 1 week in ICU, and I didn't know anything that was going on. I was really pretty much out of it. And it was the point when Gary couldn't come see me, and I couldn't even lift my phone to call anybody. But I remember our pastor, Jane Whaley, calling and checking on me. And I, at that point, had my cell phone right next to my head on the bed. And it was right before I went into ICU, and I remember her praying for me, and I remember her talking to me and encouraging me and telling me, you're going to be all right, you're going to be all right. And her son Brock sang to me a couple of songs, and it was the sweetest thing. And I had such peace after that. I had such peace. Went up to ICU. There were things that happened, but nobody knew about COVID or how to understand it or anything. But I came out of that hospital after 2 weeks alive. And that to me is a major miracle because they didn't think that I was going to live at all. But I came back home, I got strong, and I love my life. I absolutely love it. To me, I don't want to plan my days. I don't want to think I know what I'm doing next week or the next month. I just want to do what Jesus tells me to do. And I watched Gary over the years, and he's learned a lot. He's got a lot of gifts on the inside of him. He can do a lot of different things, and it's been a ministry for him. In any field at all, he's been able to go help people. And that's what living's all about. That's the reality of Jesus. That's where you find living in the presence of God. And that's what we came here for. That's what we want to do. And I wouldn't trade my life for anything. I absolutely love it. And the